Josh Wilder from Murnong Farming at Inverleigh in southwest Victoria. We have 1,100 ewes, ewe flock, a small piggery, and predominantly a fair bit of crop. And we started out with merinos 10 years ago, and now we've turned that right around. We moved to crossbred first cross ewes, traditional first cross ewes, and now we're moving on to the composites, where we're at nearly half and half of crossbred first cross versus composite ewes now. I suppose in one of that move in regards to why we've gone that road, I suppose fertility and production, kilos of lamb out the gate, also the cost reduction. If we're running an 80 kilo first cross ewe as against the 60-65 kilo, there's a 20% feed saving for the same number of lambs out the gate. So that is our natural progression, I suppose, into the composites, and now we're chasing. How can you manage a farm if you don't measure? That's my biggest philosophy. So we measure everything, and I have large files of data on all the sheep. We're just moving into EID, so that's even going to become a bit more automated, I suppose you could say. We record everything at lambing, joining right through the whole process of creating a lamb, producing a lamb, I should say. We're measuring. I pick up all dead lambs. We're weighing lambs. We're constantly weighing our on the production side of it, grown lambs through the feedlot. We're constantly weighing and handling them. Our scannings are all pretty particular. We're 1, 2s and 3s and beyond, which are all separated after scanning at that rate too and treated accordingly. They have a very measured nutrition plan, which we follow to the letter, which has enabled us to basically produce lambs at any time of year, given any feed position in the pastures or feed availability, I suppose you could say. From an in-point point of view with a Highlander ewe, if compared to what we have existing on the farm, as I said, it's a 20% feed saving. It's because of an 80 kilo ewe versus a 60 kilo ewe, for the same number of lambs produced or kilos out the gate, if not better and a higher number of lambs produced. The other input savings, I suppose, if we're going to have a 20% cost reduction in the sheep, or do we put 20% more of a sheep or more numbers out the paddock? So the Primeras, when we imported them, we had the core flock went to the Primeras, and we had a little a test group that went to our Pole Dorsets that we've been using for years, and they outshone the Pole Dorset. That little test flock with the new Primeras outshone them like you wouldn't believe, outproduced them. We had at marking, lamb marking, and then consequently weaning, the Primera lambs were 3 weeks ahead of the other Pole Dorset, our traditional cross, in weight. So they were a lot heavier, a lot faster growing to that particular point. They were 3 weeks ahead of the others. So that equated right through that 5 months of age. We sold most of our Primera cross lambs at 5 months. Just phenomenal. We had we had some through the feedlot that went out at 53 kilos live and 26 kilo carcass. It's a 49% yield through a feedlot. And then the majority of them went out at 18 kilos at 5 months. So if we go back, the lambing was far easier. I would have assisted out of the 600 ewes. I would have assisted probably 5 or 10, whereas previous I've been assisting hundreds. This is, mind you, it's a good comparison because we're still using those existing ewes that we've always dealt with. We never bought new ewes and put the Primeras over them. They've gone over the existing ewes, so I know all their history and all the trouble I've had with them. So it was a very good comparison. So the lambing was much greater, and then and our in a percentage of that our flock is young composite ewes. We had 91% survival in twin bearing ewes. So with the Primera cross, that's just phenomenal. So the Primeras in all over the farm have given us a massive production gain. Hence why we've decided to become self-replacing and go down and get some maternal genetics happening to provide those terminals to if we're getting the maternal and the terminal right, we're going to have a massive expression of genetics along with our good nutrition. Why the New Zealand composite as against the Australian composite? I think through the sheer number of progeny that are tested over there, I think their genetic path that they're on is far greater and far more advanced than what we could find in Australia. From an on-farm sustainability point of view, I think we'll be using, it's a bit like where we're at with the pigs, we're using, as time goes by, we're using less and less inputs and getting more production. Whether we're getting more specific in that nutrition or the products are getting, our animal management is far greater. So having the enterprise mix of the crop, the sheep and the pigs on this farm it's a very, very intense setup that all those three little enterprises complement each other, and we have a very sustainable, profitable business.